Hi, I'm Lonnie Cassidy, Plan Check Supervisor with the City of Santa Barbara Building and Safety Division. I oversee the counter and permitting staff, and I work with many business owners who are currently in our review process for a building permit. Many of the business owners do not realize that the property that they have secured with a lease may need some upgrades due to current building code requirements.
Leasing or purchasing a new space is an important first step in securing a location to operate your business. Business owners should carefully research the property, building requirements, and the cost of needed improvements before committing to a lease. The city owns many properties, such as this one at the airport. Even though a restaurant once operated in this building, improvements are still needed before a new restaurant opens. Using this property as an example, here are a few tips to consider before signing a lease.
I'm responsible for overseeing improvements to the former Elephant Bar and Grill restaurant. We have a new tenant moving in that will also be a restaurant, and the city is embarking upon several improvements as part of the lease negotiations. Some of those improvements are replacing the existing roof, replacing the HVAC system, making mechanical and plumbing upgrades. We're also going to make the building come into compliance with current ADA code.
The first thing to do before signing a lease is visit the planning counter at 630 Garden Street. Learn the history of the property, check the building records and archives, and ask questions to become familiar with the planning and permitting process. Understand the space thoroughly. Don't assume you're leasing or purchasing a property where everything is permitted and up to current code requirements. Regulations change frequently.
When we first started this project, we went to the Building and Safety Division to review the accessibility of the building. As a result of that visit, we found things like this ramp, for example, although it looks like it's accessible, is not because it's too narrow and too steep. We also found things like the east wing of the building is not accessible because there is no ramp, and so we're planning on putting in a ramp on the east wing of the building. We're also planning on putting in a new accessible ramp to the exterior patio, which currently only has stairs. Finally, we're going to be removing all of the raised dining areas in the restaurant to make them accessible, as well as lowering a portion of the counter at the bar to make it accessible.
Here we are inside the Elephant Bar near the restrooms. The current accessibility code requires clearances, grab bars, height of lavatories and water closets, and many of our older properties are significantly deficient. So the burden of that replacement and upgrade many times falls upon the business owner.
Next, know where your business can legally operate. Different business types are allowed to operate in certain areas of the city and need to provide sufficient parking for their employees and customers.
One element of the building that many business owners aren't aware of the need to have upgraded is the parking lot. So today we're on site and you can see we have a parking lot. The parking lot striping will need to be upgraded to meet the current ADA standards for both width and depth. And then also the paint markings that are required for accessible signage. Not only the signage that is shown there currently on the light standard is deficient. So this work would need to be done as part of the permit that the business owner applies for.
Next, anticipate basic building improvements. Upgrades to the building, its mechanical systems, and overall site may be needed to comply with building and safety requirements and address aging building needs. Some improvements are expensive. Examples include electrical systems, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, and plumbing, roof, doors, and windows, ADA accessibility for individuals with a disability, mitigating mold, lead, asbestos, or termite infestations, adequate space for trash enclosures, connections to water, sewer, and other utilities, fire sprinklers, irrigation systems, water-wise fixtures, and stormwater drainage, and adapting a building to withstand potential flooding in a flood zone or coastal area. Then, create a plan and budget for building improvements. You're committed to a property once you sign a lease. Pay close attention to when regular lease payments begin. Having a detailed plan, budget, and timeline that allows for contingencies is critical to limiting unforeseen costs and opening your doors on time and within budget. And finally, hire local professionals and monitor their work. Local architects, engineering, and planning professionals have the best understanding of city regulations and timelines. They can help you manage tenant improvements and the project planning process. Stay engaged in your project at various stages. Be flexible and anticipate extensive review of your project. Some improvements can be approved over the counter. Other improvements need to be reviewed more carefully by building professionals or engineers. Exterior changes are reviewed by advisory design boards comprised of professionals volunteering their time to maintain Santa Barbara's aesthetics.
Improvements that you propose for your business will require a building permit. And through that review process, you may discover that certain elements of the building may need to be upgraded to current code requirements. It's always advisable to meet with building and safety staff to discuss the improvements that you're proposing for your property. That way we can do an assessment to see if other code requirements are being triggered by the improvements you propose.
Thank you for watching this video on what to know before signing a lease. For more information, contact City Building and Safety staff at 630 Garden Street.